Welcome back there, year 3. Okay, I'm going to start the story now. The restaurant. Rambashi and his pirates managed to get the bloody murderer to the other bank of the river, but Lila had to fish out another oar out of the water when one of them dropped it, and promised to sit still and not joggle the boat. When they hit the bank, they all fell off their seats. "All right," said Rambashi, picking himself up. "Tie the boat to a good bit of tree or something and take the prisoner ashore." "Are we going to eat her?" said one of the pirates, "'cause I'm hungry." "Yeah, we've had nothing to eat for days," grumbled another. "You promised we'd have a hot meal every evening." "That's enough of that," said Rambashi. "You're a pack of scurvy dogs. Take the prisoner up to the cave and stop complaining." Lila wasn't sure if she could run away just yet. Some of those pirates did look fierce enough to run after her. Though now she looked more closely, she saw that their daggers were made of wood wrapped in silver paper, so they wouldn't be able to do much damage to her. "I hope you don't mind this little transaction." And a transaction is where you give something and get something in return. Okay, so often when you go to a shop, you might buy something, and that's called a transaction. You're giving money to get an item. Rambashi said as they walked along the jungle trail. "It's purely business." "Have you kidnapped me then?" said Lila. "Well, I'm afraid so, and you're going to have to hand over all your money in a minute, and then we'll tie you up and hold you for ransom." Now, ransom is where, if somebody is kidnapped, people will hold on to the person or a thing, it's not always a person, and they will ask for money in the safe return of the person or the thing. Okay, so they'll say, "I'm holding this pencil to ransom, and you need to give me something before I'll give it back." "Have you done this before?" "Oh, yes, lots of times." "And what happens when you don't get any money?" We eat you," said the hungry pirate. "Shh," said Rambashi, waving his hand vaguely. "You're not cannibals," said Lila. "Cannibals are people who eat other people. Luckily, we don't have any cannibals near us." "We're blooming hungry," said the pirate. "Have you always been pirate?" "No," said Rambashi. So let's have a little look at some vocabulary teaching. I love this picture of a dog, do you? So the book quote was, "You're a pack of scurvy dogs." And the word scurvy is what we're looking at, okay? So it has two meanings, the word scurvy, but in this one, the definition is worthless or contemptible. And we could use it as "you land-loving scurvy rats." So that's a way to describe pirates. Okay. And the synonyms for that is foul, unpleasant, bad, or horrid. Okay. Let's have a go carrying on then. So we used to have chickens, but they all died of melancholy. Now, do you remember what melancholy means? It means sad and forlorn. "So I sold the business and I brought the boat." "Oh no, shh, stop, don't move." The last pirate in the line, still grumbling, bumped into those in front who stood behind Rambashi, transfixed with fear. For there on the path ahead of them was a tiger. It swung its tail lazily from side to side and raised its golden eyes at them, and then opened its mouth and roared so loudly that Lila thought the very earth was shaking. One of the smallest pirates put his hand in hers. So there they stood, and the tiger just gathering his strength to spring, when Lila suddenly remembered herself igniting crackle dragons. She took her hand back from the small pirate, reached into her bag, and took out the 3 she'd brought with her. "Look out!" she said to Rambashi, pulling out the string of the first one, and she threw the firework in front of the tiger. The mighty beast had never been so surprised in all of his life. First one, then another, and yet another crackle dragon snapped and flashed and sparkled and leaped at him, and that was too much. With a whimper, The tiger turned and fled, and the pirates cheered. Yay! Magnificent! Cried Rambashi. Congratulations! I was about to stab him to death, of course, but never mind. Lila did wonder how he would have done that with his silver paper-covered knife, but she didn't say anything. And of course, Rambashi went on, this changes everything. We can't keep you hostage if we've just saved our lives. You'll have to be our guest instead. Stay with us overnight. Why don't you? We've got no food, said someone. What's she going to eat? We'll send Chang out to catch some fish, said Rambashi cheerfully, shaking his head at the protest that rose. No, fish is good for you. Go on, Chang, don't just stand there. I can't, said Chang. Look. They looked at the riverbank. The bloody murderer was drifting away, with the rope drifting in the water. Who tied it up? Said Rambashi. One of the pirates looked down to and tried to rub a hole in the ground with his big toe. You know when you're in trouble, sometimes when either your mum or your dad or someone at home shouts at you and you don't really want to admit that you're wrong, and you put your head down, you're like, That's what he was doing there. Said Rambashi. Fine, pirates, you are. I hope you're ashamed of yourself. But never mind, I've got a better idea. Miss, he said to Lila, rubbing his hands, and there was a bright gleam in his eye. Can I interest you in a little investment? Well, said Lila, I really ought to be getting on. No, really, this is a much better idea than piracy, Rambashi said. It came to me in a flash, just as I saw the boat floating away. I can't be cross with these fellows. They're like children, really. That's Lila having an internal thought. Yes, all my best ideas come in a flash, and this one's truly brilliant. Can't fail. Is there any food in it? Said one pirate sourly. My dear boy, it's built on food. Just wait till you hear. I say, miss, just a little money. The safest investment you'll ever make. But Lila had walked away. As she went along the path, she could hear his voice behind her. No, listen, boys. I know where I went wrong last time. I saw it in a flash. But this idea, that'll suit your talents down to the ground. Look, let me draw you a picture. Lila would have liked to know what Rambashi's next plan was, but she was eager to hurry on. Mount Merapi was smoking and rumbling in the distance. She felt her heart lift when she saw it again. So powerful and dominating, she thought. I belong to that mountain, and it belongs to me. And on she went, with no other thoughts in her mind but that, and excitement putting a spring in her step. Meanwhile, Chulak was getting ready to smuggle Hamlet out of his new home. Okay, let's find out what's going to happen next. I'm so excited. So I've got some questions for you. Okay, so remember, you will need to answer these questions independently, all right? So going back through the the pages that I have attached to your worksheet, you will need to read these and remember you're going to be using your inference skills here. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what answers you have, Year 3. Enjoy reading and enjoy answering those questions. You take care now. Bye.